the National Treasury shall ensure that all requests for reallocation and additional allocation do not exceed the 10% threshold per program as outlined in Section 43, 2A of the Public Finance Management Act and attendant regulations. 2, Honorable Speaker, that by the end of December 2022, the National Treasury should review and update the framework for the implementation of the donor-funded programs and align them to the budget cycle to enhance absorption of donor-funded development expenditure in line with the Busan Partnership for Effective Development Cooperation of 2021. Honorable Speaker, you will see that in the attached report, you see that there are a lot of deductions in relation to the donor-funded, and the common answer was that there was low absorption. Honorable Speaker, is something that needs to be addressed urgently. And 5, Honorable Speaker, that in line with the PFM Act and related regulations, the National Treasury should develop and fully enforce guidelines to deter the continued spilling of pending bills and report to the House on the progress by the end of December 2022. These guidelines should include commitments without budgetary provisions, and that the pending bills at the close of any financial year should not be higher than those that were there at the commencement. Honorable Speaker, we have seen a trend where each and every year, Honorable Speaker, we have been piling, these debts, these pending bills, Honorable Speaker, and at some point, Honorable Speaker, if not addressed, they might become a national crisis. Honorable Speaker, the committee also noted that under Article 223, that Kenya shilling 27,257,307,265 was spent under Article 223 of the Constitution as outlined in the schedule that we have actually attached, Honorable Speaker. But also, the disbursement did not commensurate with the article. There are some funds that were still indicated under 223. However, the funds were not released to the entities. That the additional Kenya shilling 70,847,524,597 as contained in the schedule 1, 2, and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, and 3 forms the basis of the second supplementary bill 2022. Honorable Speaker, with that, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move, and as I move, I want to thank again your office, the office of the clerk, and my committee team, the entire budget team, and also the chairs of the various teams, the various departmental committees, who, Honorable Speaker, despite the short notice, they were able to process the second supplementary. I want to move and request the Honorable Nyamita, the MP for Uriri, to second. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Member for Uriri, Honorable Mark Nyamita. Yes, I can see it now.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me also take this opportunity to thank my colleagues that we have served with in the Budget and Appropriations Committee for the last 5 years, and especially on this last supplementary too, that they have put the country first, not to be in their constituencies. It was not indeed easy, Mr. Speaker, to, you know how we are struggling to get even a quorum in this House. But members took their time from the constituencies to be there so that we were able to deliberate in this. I want to thank also the chairs of the various committees who found time to have quick meetings and submit to us their reports on the supplementary 2 for the last financial year. And we already had our last committee meeting, Mr. Speaker, and I'm sure you will see the amount of work that the committee has done over the last 5 years in our exit report, which I'm sure my able chair will table tomorrow. Indeed, as we go into these elections, I think we go very proud that we have done justice to this country in the capacity that we served in the Budget and Appropriations Committee. And I want to thank the House also for that we put also our political differences aside, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that the country runs smoothly. And on occasions, even where we have had different opinions, we have found ways around to support this government. And as we wait for the fifth government, hopefully under the Raila Amolo Odinga, we will continue to give him that support should God grant us an opportunity to come back to this House. Without further ado, Mr. Speaker, I wish to second.
Now, members, I propose the question, which is that the House adopts a report of the Budget and Appropriations Committee on the Supplementary Estimates 2 for the financial year 2021-2022, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 7th of June 2022, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 223 of the Constitution and standing under 243, 1. Approves an increment of the total expenditure for financial year 2021-2022 by Kenya shillings 70,847,524,587, being current estimates of Kenya shillings 65,012,661,186 and capital estimates of Kenya shillings 5,861,863,411 in respect to the votes as contained in the attached Schedule 1. Number 2, approves Kenya shillings 27,257,307,265 for financial year 2021-2022, spent under Article 223 of the Constitution and as contained in the attached second schedule. And 3, resolves that the attached schedules form the basis for the introduction of the second Supplementary Appropriations Bill 2022. Honourable members, it looks like what? Member for Kigumo. Honourable Wangari, you want to contribute to this? Very well. Yes.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I rise to support the report of the Supplementary Appropriation 2 that the Chair of our Budget Committee has just tabled. Honourable Speaker, I also want to join my colleagues who have thanked your office for the support that the Budget Committee has continued to receive in its very demanding task of oversighting the Treasury on the area of budget appropriation. Honourable Speaker, we as members have gone through and sat with the Treasury on most of the issues regarding the supplementary estimates. A lot of them were adjustments for projects that needed to be prioritized and needed to be given support for completion. So, you have heard even some of the speakers who had risen to speak on the early appropriation bill saying that at this time the Treasury has really reached out to ensure that there's what we can call equal distribution of resources to ensure that it reaches all the parts of this country. A lot of the constituencies and members who are in this House can attest to very many projects on areas of infrastructure that would otherwise have been left without being completed, and areas of education. And so this bill is coming in to ensure that those projects are completed, they're completed on time, they do not attract penalties that would otherwise be loaded on by the contractors for non-payment. So, Honourable Speaker, you remember like the area of the universal health care has been very dear to the Jubilee administration, and particularly His Excellency the President, and so a lot has gone into this area to ensure that hospitals like in the slum areas. You've seen like what has happened in Nairobi. A lot of hospitals, level 2 and level 3 hospitals have been completed to ensure that there is less overloading onto the referral hospital, which is Kenyatta National Hospital. So most of the issues that the supplementary bill seeks to address are areas that are so critical to our country, that are so critical to the development of the infrastructure support, upon which we believe the incoming government, which we are so hopeful will be headed by Baba the Fifth, is going to build on to the infrastructural development that the current administration has done, and most of what these supplementary bills seek to conclude. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to support with those words and to say that I'm happy when I heard a lot of the remarks that came from the floor when we were looking at the appropriation bill. Members openly saying that they have felt the work of our committee and the way we have interfaced with Treasury to ensure that projects across the country in almost every constituency are being considered for budgetary support. I'm very happy with the leadership of our chairman. Been very consultative. We are happy with the guidance that your office has continued to give us, the clerk and all the members of the budget committee who have burnt at times the midnight oil. We've sat here even in this parliament with Treasury until very late hours to ensure that all the supplementary estimates are properly evaluated, and that with the oversight role that this parliament through the budget committee continues to give, that it's properly discharged. And so with those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to support. I thank you.
Vice Chair, the Honorable Shinali.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I really appreciate for you giving me this chance to add my voice on supplementary budget, supplementary estimates 2 for financial year 2021-22. Mr. Speaker, first of all, I want, Mr. Speaker, to thank also the Budget Committee members who have taken their time out of their busy schedule to come and, Mr. Speaker, following your direction to work on supplementary 2 so that it's here very fast, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is hard times. Our country is facing many challenges, Mr. Speaker, as a result of maybe the Russia-Ukraine war, Mr. Speaker, and Mr. Speaker, there is the drought medication, Mr. Speaker, that have made life of the normal Kenyan and even middle-class Kenyans a bit difficult, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this supplementary 2 that seeks to provide Kenya shillings 70 billion, 8.7, 70 billion, 0.87 million, Mr. Speaker, to make sure that number 2, there is expenditure to cushion, Mr. Speaker, the rising economy in terms of fuel subsidy, Mr. Speaker.